Okay. Am I going? Oh, I'm so happy I'm live. Okay. I was scheduled to go live at 9 and something happened and it wasn't there. So my name is Annette L. Anderson and this is TNT Tuesday Night Talk, and this is where we take flight and soar. We speak, orate, articulate, and reverberate. And as you come on, if you will, please like and share. I will appreciate it. Uh, Actually, subscribe, like, and share. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to tag some people. So give me a second here. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful day. Had a wonderful day. Okay, so I am, as always, excited about what's going to happen. So I'm looking away, looking because I'm sharing. So let me hit up some folks. I'm sending messenger. Okay. All righty. Oh, a minute here. Okay. All right. Okay. Wow. I'm having a tough time tonight. I wasn't on I guess they must have did something new to oh, this is something new to Facebook. Facebook. Every time you look around it's something different. So there we go. All righty. All righty. Um I'm just on here for a few minutes. Well, give or take. And I really want to talk about a couple of things on tonight. I'm still sending, hitting up some folks. Alrighty. My daughter's working, so I know. Alrighty. Okay. All right, we're gonna get started. So again, my name is Annette L. Anderson. Hello, Sharon. Hey, Deborah. Thank y'all so much for coming on. My apologies. I was supposed to come on at 9, but when I signed on, like, okay, I didn't see I didn't see nothing where it was ready for me to sign on. So that's why I'm a little late. And I haven't been here the last couple of weeks, of course, during the storm. Everybody knows the story about the storm. And I decided to come on tonight for just a few minutes, and I appreciate all you guys who coming on. I just love God, and I love how He does what He does. And Elder Sharon Elaine Green, she has her prayer ministry, Inspiration of Prayers for Everyone, for All. Sharon, Nicole, you see, I'm renaming your stuff. So that's her information. So please, if you need prayer, um, you need her to intercede for someone else, for yourself, or whatever. The best time to call her is at 6. You can text her, call her, email her, because I do understand the need for prayer, because we all need prayer. Trust me. So I'm going to be popping that up, Sharon. And hey, Nicole, I appreciate you coming on, young lady. I'm so glad about your dad. He is a miracle. Hey, God still does miracles. So I am happy that he pulled through. So we have been praying for him, Nicole. We really had. So again, let me take this off here. I kind of miss coming on here too, because I kind of felt a little lost. I was like, what? Am I supposed to be doing something tonight for the last couple of weeks? So we had in our house we had flood, and it flooded all the rooms. But you know what? That's okay, because God still get the glory. He gets the glory. So even though that happened, it is what it is. Hey, Virginia, it's my sister-in-law, and Nicole, my daughter, my friends on here. So I'm so thankful. So I'm just going to talk with you guys for a few minutes. I, I say that I hope and pray that it's for a few minutes, actually, because I really want to touch on something. tonight. And the topic is after the storm. And of course, you know how I am, but I like to use acronyms. And for the word storm is serving the only risen Messiah. And so after the storm, so regardless of what's going on in my life, I have, and even in your life, it may not be a storm in the way the storm that we just had. It just may be a storm in your life. Something has really cause uproar. Some other things may be going on in your life, but storm simply means serving the only risen Messiah, and so I've learned. And what I'm going to do before I say anything, I'm going to really go into it next week, so I can really. I did some word studies and have scripture and all that to support what I'm talking about, but. For the next this week and next week, I'm gonna be talking about the storm. And so tonight, I just wanted to share with you some of the things that we went through in the storm, and so many others. It was, I've been through storms before. This is not the first storm I ever been through, but it's the first storm that I've been through that I was affected so much. So many other people were affected. I was listening and to some of the one business owner and how she said she lost everything, and so even though I did have a loss, I didn't lose everything. I mean, we never left the house, but of course, that one night I was like, I should have left here, but we toughed it out, and we were very very blessed. Both our cars total. They say it's total, but that's something we will have to deal with. But through it all, it was a test. It was a time when I sit and we watch the water start filling the house. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what your pedigree is. I don't care how much money you got in the bank. I don't care who your dad is, your mom is. None of that matters. There are things in life that nobody can do fix but God. And that was one of those things. Nobody can stop that water. And we watched it. And I was like, oh, we okay. We okay. And it got into the door. So, oh, that's all right. And then after a while, it started flooding the whole house, and through my garage, because the garage is and the living room was like kind of back, so I saw the water coming in from the garage, and then it started coming from the back door, and I was like, oh my God. We had, we did all the stuff people supposed to do. We had stuff down, and but the storm kept coming. It kept coming. The waters kept coming. The rain wouldn't stop. And so I thought about, even when that was happening, and of course I didn't like it. Every room I'm walking in, the water's up to my ankles. Of course I didn't like it, but there was such a message in that regardless of how the storms of life comes, whether the water rages, the wind blows, whatever. At the end of the day, the storm just means serving the only risen Savior. That was the only. That was I mean, that was our only hope. Our only hope was God would cause the wind to cease, because He can do it. He's done it in His Word, where He spoke, to the wind, and the wind got quiet, and the winds had to obey. And so He speaks to nature. And so I began to pray, say, God, please stop this rain, because the more it rained, the more it flooded. And not just this neighborhood. I've been riding around in different neighborhoods, and just about every neighborhood has piles of debris, and piles. I mean, I one particular area I absolutely love to ride down, because I always say one day I'm going to live in one of those houses, like mansions. They're beautiful. Even those houses, they have debris all sitting in front of their homes, because it was something that we could not control. And what I found so interesting, even on my street, there were several homes that was not affected. I mean, houses right across from me, houses down the street, but then there were other places that were devastated. And so that's how life is, y'all. Everything can be going good. You're not affected. There's no issues, no rain, no storms, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, where it begins to hail and rain, and it almost becomes unbearable. And so I sit and I watch, and because I mean, I told Leonard, I don't know what we're gonna do. We just sit and watch. I watched it come to the living room. I said, okay, 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 it's gonna stop. And it came through the den, and then it went down the hall. I said, every bathroom, I have two, I don't have two bathrooms, but absolutely every corner of the house was flooded. And and I was thinking even about my life, There's been every corner of my life has been flooded with disappointment and heartache, and I didn't seem to know the way. I didn't understand, God, why you allowed this to happen. But I never felt like woe is me with what went on at home, because I understood that I was not the only one. I never felt that, but I felt sort of helpless in a sense, because I didn't know. I knew what to do, but I didn't know if it was going to ever stop raining. Because I mean, it was raining, the wind was blowing, it kept raining, 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 and so the rain stopped. The rain stopped, y'all. Okay, but I still had to deal with what the rain left. Because even in your life, the rain can stop, but you still got to deal with those issues and that disappointment. And I talk about it all the time. I always go back when I lost some loved ones. My grandmother, my mother, my aunts, my uncles, and my cousins. I lost quite a few people, and so even though the rain stopped, I had to still keep dealing with those issues, dealing with the loss of my loved ones, dealing with financial crisis, dealing with other things that's going on in my life. But I told my husband, I say, sometimes in life we have to be careful what we talk about or what we say. Because one of that I told Lynn, I said, we need to really redo this darn floor. Because I hate the floor. It has this wood, and it's not real wood. And I said, we need to do that. And I said, one day we'll get money. Now listen, this is not the way I wanted it to happen, but because of the rain, it destroyed the floors. So the floors, the doors need to be replaced, because I've been in the house 15 years, and when I moved here, it wasn't brand new. Somebody else was living here before I did. So the doors need to be replaced. So every door in this house has to be replaced. Every door. Because the rain caused the doors to become warped, because, we sit in rain for 2 days, that the rain didn't have anywhere to go. And so all the doors are damaged and all that. But I said all of this not because I feel sorry for myself. I don't, because I have insurance and I have flood insurance and homeowners insurance. So I'm blessed in that respect. And I know it's going to be replaced. But I said all that to say this, that even through life adversities, there's always a message. There's always something you can glean from it, something you can pull from your adversity. And even though we don't like it and know it did not feel good, because I kept saying like, oh my gosh, what is in this water? And so Leonard said, sometime when it rain like this, sewage backed up. I said, God, I said, okay, if I see anything that's not that in sewage, I'm just gonna just pass out. But of course, it didn't happen. Thank God, thank God, because oh my gosh. But the water was coming from the outside, so that means whatever was on the outside came in the inside, y'all. And so even in our life, stuff may happen on the outside of what's of our lives, but it has a way of creeping in. And what I mean by that, like say a family member may become sick, that's really on the outside, but it comes on the inside of us, because now it's affecting people we love. When I lost my grandbaby and he was 6 months old, that was on the outside, but it affected my heart. It went in a place that you can't articulate certain pains. You really can't. There's pains that don't have. There's no words in a dictionary that can describe certain heartaches and certain pains. So so I watched this water coming from the outside, little nasty water. Now, if I had a pipe that burst in the house or whatever, I could look at them, but all that water was just flowing from God knows where. And then there was debris in the house, and I was walking, no, and I had got to the point. It was kind of funny later when I looked at the video, because I videoed everything. And let's say, why you video? I want to document what I've been through, and I want to make sure I have for my insurance. Okay. And so I was sitting on the couch, and I was just, sitting there just playing in the water, because I guess I had to figure out how to make the best of where I was, because it was nothing that I could do about it. And so I'm telling you that tonight, there are times in your life, there's just nothing you could do about it. We stay up all night when we going through situations, because I've been there where I can't sleep and I'm pondering in my head, what can I do? How can I make this situation better? Listen, you might as well go on to sleep, because, God never sleeps. You might as well go ahead and sleep. And hopefully when you wake up the next day, that water, that rain or that situation has subsided. And that's what happened. We watched the rain come in our house, but we also watched the rain go out. We watched the water go out, the rainwater go out. We did. And then, we watched our neighbors, so many of our neighbors. And then one of the most interesting things that happened, and I'm almost through, sharing with you. Next week, I'm going to go into the biblical aspect of what I want to discuss. But one of the most interesting things I saw, it was this couple that lived around on the street. And it was a husband and a wife, and they had children. And so I was talking to, of course, we're always standing in water. What the heck? It wasn't nowhere else to stand. And they had a big dog, and he was carrying the dog on his shoulder. And she said, I have to leave because I have these children. She's, in other words, she said, I had to make a decision. Am I going to stay or am I going to go? Am I going to deal with the situation or am I going to go get help? And I didn't even realize what they did. I saw pictures later. There was actually somebody at the other road, the main road, Bellevue, that was waiting, and they were rescuing people. I didn't know that. And so sometimes we have to make a decision. Am I going to stay? Or am I going to go? Am I going to deal with this situation head on, which is what me and Leonard did? We dealt with it head on. Or am I going to step away from the situation and I'm going to allow God to come in and fix it? And so we had decided the next day, if it kept raining, we were leaving, period. We were leaving, but then the next day, the rain subsided a little. It was still raining, but not as bad. And then we looked at the door, and there was a boat that went by, and it was a little. It was the police department, and they were going, took the boat through the neighborhood to see if anybody needed to be rescued, and they asked us did we need to be rescued. Of course, we were fine by that time. Heck, we were okay, you know. But life happens, y'all, and situations happen, and then sometimes we just have to learn how to deal with it. It was not easy, and like I said, cars total. I'm gonna have to find a car. Uh, both our cars because the water got in the cars and stuff like that. But that stuff is you can get stuff, you can get stuff. And I just thank God that I had the mindset that I did. I did have this one moment that I was just laying I just got on the bed because what we would do because we had to make sure we had a towel because it was raining and it was wet in the house, so you had to dry your feet off to get in bed. And I just laid there for a moment, and I did it for a moment. I started feeling sorry for myself. I said, "Oh my God, what I'm gonna do?" But Leonard, he started, moving around and trying to do what he could do, move what he could move. And so in my mind said, "Get up and begin to work." And so my message for you on tonight is to get up and start working. Get up. I know it's difficult. Get up because the first day we couldn't do anything. The second day, it was bad too. But by the end of the second day, we were able to begin to actually, we were able to begin to do some stuff. And so, and I said, okay, I'm gonna just get, because I was just laying on the bed like this, like I was like, God, but I, I think I knew I was talking to God. I said, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get this water out my house, But the next day, Leonard started working. He said, and that, we need to do this. I said, okay. I got up, and once I started working, I don't know, from somewhere the adrenaline started flowing and pumping, and I started really working, and I started seeing progress. And so sometimes, y'all, when it don't look like there's an answer, because all I knew was water in the house. How am I going to get this out of this house? How am I going to go to the next level? How am I going to do this? I had to get up because I had laid down and I had decided that there was no hope for me at that point to get this water out. I knew one at some point it would. I mean, of course, that was a no brainer. But the wind kept blowing and the rain kept going, and I was like, God, please don't let the rain, because even with the rain, if the wind would have got worse, the situation would have got worse. But anyway, so I'm just here on tonight, just for this few minutes, to just tell you, just have to get up. You have to get up and work. I had to get up. And so that was such a lesson. And I don't know, I felt like once I got up, how the people, like in the olden church, I felt my help coming on. I felt my help coming on. All of a sudden, when I got up, I had hope. because I was laying there and I was beginning to lose hope. And I never want to lose hope. And so for me and for so many other people, even in your personal life, that was just something that happened, in the natural. But even in our physical, spiritual and physical lives, we have to learn how to say, I'm going to get up. I know the situation look bad. It don't seem like there's a way. This water won't stop. This rain won't stop. The wind won't stop. I don't know what to do, God. Get up. Because what happened once I got up, then God gave me what to do. Honestly, because I told Linda was trying to mop. Like, we cannot mop this water. We can't. We can't mop. Hey, Sheila. We could. First of all, because of the job I've done for so many years, certain things I can't do much with my hands, like wring and mop and open up jars. I just can't. I said, I cannot do this. So I came up with this innovative idea. I'm sure other people have done it. I said, we got these dustpans with the long handle. I said, why not just sweep the water in there and dump it in the bucket? And then because by that time the water had subsided a little bit and we could throw it out. We were able to throw it. But man, we were moving. We got it out of there. But we had to get up. And once God allowed me to get past whatever that funk I was in, I got up, came up with this idea to really help us move, and it worked. But I mean, there's a process, y'all, and it ain't always easy. And sometimes, it hurts, and sometimes it don't seem like God is there, and sometimes it feels like I can't make it. I don't know how I'm gonna get to the next level. I don't know, As I laid on that bed and I began to really deal with my own emotions, because don't let nobody fool you. I don't care how much Jesus you got. I love the Lord, and I'm saved and all that good stuff. But even in this Christian walk, there are times when we have to deal with ourselves, because even though we know God can, sometimes we ask Him, I know He can, but will He? And so I was dealing with those emotions, but because I had enough Jesus in me, I was able to reach back and reach down and all those scriptures I read, all those sermons I've heard, even the times I've preached to others and the time I've encouraged others, because that's what I try to do. I had to reach way down. And so those human emotions going to kick in. I don't care who you are. Deborah say, work even in the midst of your storm. God will work it out no matter how bad it looks. And that is profound. And that's showing up the truth. And it was such a lesson for me. It was such a lesson for me that even in a storm, even in a situation like that, we may not have somebody to encourage us. So we have to really, I love David. We have to be like David, encourage ourselves that even through this, there will be victory. Both our cars, man. And I've been fighting and trying to keep my car. I've been fighting, Lord have mercy. But through it all, I just have to do what I have to do. But I just want to come on tonight and just encourage somebody that regardless of what it looks like, because I literally went through the storm. My whole neighborhood. In fact, I was the neighborhoods that's not adjacent to me and not that far from me, and even Miss Pat, that at her building at 955 Orange Avenue, like, all these businesses are lost. I'm not saying they won't recover, but right now they're lost. And I heard her on the radio. She said she's lost 99% of her business. And if you know Miss Pat is an entrepreneur to heart. She has heart of gold, and she's a businesswoman, and she has worked from the ground up to build her businesses. And so my prayer is that, FEMA and some other people will really step in and help our community. This is one of the reasons, and it has always been on my heart, that I told God if He ever blessed me, that I would bless others, because if I had the money, God knows I would be knocking on her door, and so many other people that are struggling. And everybody don't have. I'm fortunate. Everybody didn't have the homeowners insurance and flood. So many don't, and so they're trying to figure it out. But I know God's going to work it out. I know He is, because He's that kind of God. And so I wanted to share my story, that even when you encourage others, there are times when you have to encourage yourself, because that, there's not going to always be somebody saying you got it, you at a girl, you got it. There's not going to always be somebody patting you on the back. There's not going to always be somebody that'll motivate you and to push you and to help you. And I thank God for my husband, because that day when I was laying there and I felt sorry myself, he was just picking up stuff and moving. I was thinking, like, I don't know what he's doing that for. He don't see this water. But he said, come on, and I got up, and the rest is history. So just know that regardless, I just had to come. I had to, because we still, I'm still going through the process, but that's all right. It's a process, and at the end of this, there's going to be glory. And whatever you're going through tonight, at the end of that, God's going to get the glory. And I had to learn. That there's glory in us, in my story, in your story. Because people look at us, and people look at situations, and they see from the outside, but you don't know the story. You don't know what they had to walk through. And that's why, when I first started preaching, one of the things I used to love Prophetess Bynum. I thought, oh yes, I'm going to be like Prophetess Bynum. When I began to hear that woman's story, nope, I'm just going to have to be in that, whatever that is, then that's who I am. And I've learned to be very, very, very comfortable in my skin. But that was just for that moment, for that moment, and but God reminded me. So I want you to know, I'm getting ready to get off of here, but I want you to know we're gonna have moments that we're gonna have times when we don't understand. We're gonna have times that we're gonna say, God, I don't understand why you allowed this to happen to me. Not even talking about the storm. That was just a temporary thing. I'm talking about storms in life, that stuff that cuts you to the core of who you are. Okay, me losing a car, carpet didn't cut me to the core. It caused me for a moment to really, like, say, now wait a minute, now what's going on here? But there's some other things that will cut us, that will knock us to our knees, that will cause us to get on our face, that it cause us to begin to question who we are, that kind of stuff. And I want to encourage people, because I saw this on the news where these two gentlemen, they didn't call their name, and I don't, even if I knew their name, I wouldn't call it. That it wasn't here, it wasn't in this area, but it was in the area that the storm hit the worst, where so many people have died and lost. They went back home, and they had nothing. Everything was destroyed. And because of that, they killed it. They committed suicide. I said, God, I began to pray for that family. I said, God, let me never be in a place in my life that if I lost everything, that I would end my life, because, I don't know where these people were, but I do know that as long as you got life, you got another opportunity, you got another chance. And I'm not here to even pass judgment on them, on those men. They were two men, because I don't know their story. But what I'm saying is, we can learn from from other people's stories. We can learn from how people they look at this situation and they think there's no hope. If you ever lose hope, you're in trouble. So even when I laid on that bed and looked down the hall, I was just watching the water. And I'm telling y'all, it was just like a river. It was just going back and forth. And let me say this, I promise you I'm finished. One of the worst things that happened to me, that more than anything, was the water was bubbling. All night long I heard blue, 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 and it'll bubble in the room, and it'll bubble in the living room, and all night long I kept hearing that, because the water, there was a wave, and there was nowhere for the water to go. So I heard that all night. I told them it was driving me crazy. I was up just looking around, because the water was in the room bubbling, and it was in the living room bubbling, and I could hear it in the kitchen, because my house is not that big, so I could hear the different areas where the water was bubbling, because there was nowhere else for water to go. And so life will do that. it will put you in a bind. It will put you in a corner. It'll cause, hey Mildred, it'll cause you to not understand that it's just temporary. It's temporary. When you come down these neighborhoods, you see the after effect of the storm, but you don't see the storm anymore. So you may have a residual of the storm. You may feel what happened to you because of the storm, but the storm itself is long gone. And that is what I learned. And that bubbling just drove me. And I said, God, make it stop. I could deal with the rain, but I can't deal with that constant bubbling, because I understood that there was more water coming and more water coming, and there was nowhere for it to go. So it just came in there and bubbled. And after a while, it stopped. And so just know that I don't care. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how difficult it may be. I don't care how, like I say, we have three. Lena has a truck and two cars. We have three vehicles. But I don't care. I'll get another car. I just will. It's all good. It's all good. But just know, just be encouraged. Storms will come, wind will come, rain will come, situations will come, life will come, things will come out of nowhere. You don't even know. Listen, it will hit you so hard. It's like being punched in the gut. I've been kicked so hard in the not naturally, but life, until it has literally knocked me down. But some kind of way, I may stay down for a minute, and I may have to struggle, and I may not understand. But I bet you what, I'm going to get up. I mean, I had my moment. I had my moment, and I'm so glad that God put the right person in my life to tell me and to get up. Because I was just sitting. I was just laying there, and the water was it was just doing just like this, y'all, wave, because it was nowhere to go. And then there's a pond not that far. The pond, it was just my neighbors. I don't. A lot of people, I don't know them, but I just want to knock on everybody's door and say, "You okay?" But they're okay. I've seen my neighbors out, so everybody's okay. They're okay. So, and I'm gonna let you know tonight, and I'm getting ready for real to leave. You okay? You okay? It may look bad right now, but you okay. I had to understand it was tough, but I'm okay. Leonard okay. My neighbor's okay. Whatever you're going through, it's okay. And so I put Elder Sharon Elaine Green. She has inspirational prayers for all. 386-334-8917. So if you're struggling in an area, if you because I'm a woman of prayer, but there are times I need somebody else to intercede on my behalf, because it can be difficult. So I've been keep putting it up. So like I say, if you need it, if you just need her to put you on her prayer list. She has a prayer list, and she for real pray. People say, "I'll pray for you." Now I will pray for you, but I may not. I may not always do right. Okay. But she for real will pray for you. But I'll pray for people. If somebody said pray for me, I'm gonna pray for them, because obviously they need it. But this is a ministry that God had put on her heart, and this is a ministry that she's always had, always ever since I've known her. She just decided to step out and walk into her destiny. And so, like so many of other us that needs to do, step out. So just know, you can call her. You should call her after 6, and if she don't answer, leave a message. She'll call you back. And if you just want her to if you just want to call, leave a message, say, "Hey, put me on the prayer list," because she prays every day, then she will put you on the prayer list. Okay. So I wanted to share that with you, because that's so important. That is so important, because so many people, man, they just need somebody to intercede. I've been there where I didn't think I could make it, and thank God for those who prayed for me. And so Deborah said this: never lose faith, and that's power. Never, never, regardless. I never lost faith. I never lost hope. I just was like, okay, now what? You know what I'm saying? Now what? Okay, I don't know what to do. So that's where I was. So that's going to be it for me tonight, and I'll be back next week, and and I'm going to talk about the storm. Uh, because I didn't really touch on the biblical aspect of a storm. And I really, that's important to me that I always touch on that. But tonight, the acronym for the storm, after the storm, is serving the only risen Messiah. That's what the acronym for storm is, serving the only risen Messiah. That's what got me through it. With the natural, the actual storm, but that's what will get you through it, through your storms of life, because they're gonna come. So I don't, you're not immune to storms. Anita said all the time, either you just came out of a storm, you're in a storm, or you're getting ready to go in a storm. So storms come, but they don't come. You know what? They don't come. They don't come to destroy you, but they come to cleanse you. You know how I know this? Because this storm caused me to throw away stuff I've been had. Some of the stuff hurt my heart, but I've been had probably since my kids were in school. I still had their report cards. My daughter, 47, 48, whatever she is. They always have to tell me how old they are. But my daughter's about 48. So I've had it since they were kids. So much of my stuff was gone. But you know what? After the storm, there's a cleansing. So hey, all it did was make room for some more junk that I got. So I think that's funny. So okay, that's it for me tonight. My name is Annette Anderson, and this is TNT Tuesday Night Talk. This is where we take flight and soar. We speak, orate, articulate, and reverberate, and we just talk about some stuff. So next week, when you guys come on, if you would share, and hopefully we can have some other people come on, because I really do believe I have something to say. I believe God has given me a little something, just a little bit to say. And I want to make sure people get encouraged. That's what I do. TNT. First of all, I have to encourage myself before I can encourage others. But I want to encourage people to understand that you have what it takes, but you got to take what you have and utilize that to push you into destiny, into your greatness, because there's greatness in all of us. This is how I look at life. If I'm still here, you know, and if I'm still here, obviously there's still God has something for me to do. And Virginia summed it up best: storms don't come to stay; they're just temporary. So again, my name is Annette L. Anderson, and this is TNT. And one of my scriptures: let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my sight be acceptable in thy sight. I'm sorry. Oh Lord, my strength and redeemer. Next time I'll put the scripture up there, because I know that scripture, but of course I messed it up. Oh, hey. Anyway, I just love y'all. Thank y'all. That's it for me tonight. I will be back next week. I'm gonna have my favorite scripture up there. So when it's time for me to say it, I'm just gonna read it, okay? All right, that's it for me tonight. Good night. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you next week. Good night, everybody.